Alright, 1 year in songs list down, 1 to go. With the worst hit songs of 2024 behind us, let's finish off by talking about the best hit songs of 2024. You know, one pattern I've noticed in doing these best and worst hit songs lists is that my list of candidates for the best list always has way more songs than the worst list. My list of candidates for the worst list this year was around 20 songs. The candidates for the best list had a little over 30. That means I need to cut that list down to about half. The 10 songs on the actual list plus the 5 honorable mentions. That was one of the reasons I decided to have my best songs of 1999 list have 20 songs instead of just 10. I had more than 30 songs on the list of candidates for that list. Meanwhile, I couldn't even come up with 10 songs bad enough to fill a worst hit songs of 1999 list. Maybe it's just because there genuinely is more good mainstream music than bad in my opinion, or maybe it's because I'm more likely to mark a song down as good than bad, even if they're at exact opposite points on the good-bad spectrum. And while listening to a ton of good songs is definitely a relief for me, after listening to a ton of bad songs for the worst list, it does mean the best list takes a bit longer to narrow down the worst list. Hopefully you'll bear with me, and can still appreciate the time I put into talking about these songs. Let me tell you, coming up with stuff to say on 15 songs, and having 9 of them be roughly the same length, can sometimes be a challenge, especially when you don't have much to say beyond, it's really good, or, I just don't like it. I know making these lists isn't for everyone, hence why not everyone does them. Not everyone can be a music critic, and can articulate their feelings on their favorite or least favorite songs. Hopefully you think I do a decent job at it though. I guess cutting half the candidates out is a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing that it gives me fewer songs to write stuff on, and it's a curse in that I don't get to shine a light on some other hit songs this year that I really like. But I hope you'll still enjoy hearing my thoughts on them. Speaking of which, let's get to that. Just a reminder that the eligible songs for this list are the 82 songs that debuted on the Billboard Year-End Hot 100 Songs of 2024 list. Go watch my previous best and worst hit songs list to avoid spoilers for any of them. And lastly, this list is just my opinion. Don't get mad at me for putting a song you hate on here, or putting them in a different order than the order you would have put them in. Feel free to let me know in the comments what your favorite hit songs of the year were. Okay, let's start to finish this off with number 10.
Think about me every night, oh, isn't that sweet? I guess so. Say you can't sleep, baby, I know that's that me espresso.
You know, it feels like Sabrina Carpenter has been long overdue to break through with a Billboard hit. She's been releasing music since 2014, 10 years ago. She released 5 studio albums prior to the one this song is on. However, it took until 2021 for her to finally have a song chart on the Hot 100 with Skin. And it took until this year, 2024, for her to finally get a song on the Billboard Year-End Hot 100 list. 4 in fact. And of those 4 songs, Espresso ended up being the highest on the year-end list, and deservedly so since it's also the best of them. Moving away from her youthful Disney Channel persona and into a more mature sound, Espresso is one of the year's sexiest songs, with the silky disco pop groove, reminiscent of Doja Cat's Say So, Sabrina's breathy sensual vocals, a groove that's upbeat but also not too peppy, and lyrics about being sweet and keeping her boy up all night, hence being his espresso. I love that soft disco pop sound with the synths and catchy chorus that you could dance to or make love to. Love songs are always best when they manage to strike that perfect middle ground of being both upbeat and mid-tempo. The song does give me the feeling of touching a girl's soft skin in bed, which is definitely what the song was trying to convey. Compared to many other Disney Channel stars like Miley Cyrus or Selena Gomez, Sabrina Carpenter's transition to sounding more adult is definitely a lot less abrupt and awkward. Maybe part of that is because she never had a hit until now, and thus, this song is many people's first impression of her, but when she sensually and breathily sings about her soft skin and perfume, and even drops an F-bomb in that first verse, it doesn't sound out of place. And I know some people think the lyrics are a bit dumb, especially with the Mountain Dew and Nintendo references, or the twisted humor line in the second verse, or even the title lyric, "That's that me espresso," being ungrammatical, but the song is just so pleasant and silky that I don't really care. This song definitely managed to make Sabrina Carpenter sound sexy without coming off as forced or awkward. This song, it's my espresso.
You set my world on fire, yeah, it's all gone.
Country music's been having its biggest peak in popularity in a long time lately. Last Night by Morgan Wallen was the biggest hit song of last year, and was one of the biggest Billboard hits of all time. Heck, it was one of 4 country songs that hit number 1 that year. Well, country music continued its massive wave of popularity into this year as well. And here we got the first of 4 country songs to make my top 10 best songs of the year. World on Fire by Nate Smith is an upbeat post-breakup song about your world crumbling down when your ex-girlfriend abruptly ended the relationship and not being able to move on from it. I love the Rascal Flatts-esque country rock sound, combined with Nate Smith's raspy voice that gives the song some real fire to it, fitting with the song's title and lyrics. It gives me the feeling of someone walking away from an explosion or fire and peacing out. It's metaphorical, of course. The thing that's gone up in flames is a relationship, but yet you can't stay in this town anymore because it brings back the memories of the failed relationship. Even though it's time to leave this town, you don't know where you're gonna go next. You can't see through the metaphorical smoke, as mentioned in the lyrics. This girl took the good memories you had of your relationship with you and set them ablaze, along with the relationship itself. Maybe some could argue the song is too major key sounding for a song with these lyrics, and maybe some minor chords could have sold the emotion better, but I disagree. The song's emotion isn't sadness or melancholy. If anything, the guitars and upbeat sound represent the flurry of emotions the protagonist really feels here. It's not sad per se, it's more like a combination of anger, disappointment, and exasperation. The country rock sound really fits with the lyrics of fire and something being set ablaze. The protagonist definitely feels fire inside of him as well, and that leads to the song sounding so emotional yet also fun to sing along to. It's not just his world that's on fire, this song is on fire too. Also, Nate Smith's other hit song this year, Bulletproof, is pretty good too. Check that one out as well.
I had some help. It ain't like I can make this kind of mess all by myself.
And here's another country song on this list. In addition to established country artists like Nate Smith, we also ended up getting some non-country artists crossing over to the genre as well. Beyonce ended up releasing a country album this year with Cowboy Carter. It ended up scoring a hit on this year's year-end list with Texas Hold'em. That song's decent, but in my opinion, the best crossover country song that became a hit this year came courtesy of Post Malone, a guy originally known for being a white hip-hop artist. He proved with Circles that he was capable of making a good acoustic song, and then of course there was Take What You Want, which managed to crossover trap with rock in a fantastic way. And with country having its massive wave of success lately, it was only natural he'd make a country album too. And with the help of Morgan Wallen, no pun intended, he managed to score another #1 song and one of the biggest hit songs of the year with I Had Some Help. Posty and Morgan managed to have some decent chemistry here, as they sing about how they're not solely to blame for going crazy. Their partner shoulders some blame for them going off the rails following their breakup as well. It's got the same echoey, reverb-filled sound we're used to with Post Malone, but the acoustic guitar and pedal steel also shifts it into more of a twangy country sound. Post Malone manages to fit like a glove on this sound, and he sounds right in his comfort zone, despite being originally known as a hip-hop artist. The lyrical content is very familiar for both artists. This collaboration was honestly genius, and it really was perfect timing to put it out now. Add an upbeat, catchy melody, especially with a twangy guitar sound the second half of the chorus, and you got a fun, foot-tapping country song that's definitely a pleasant surprise. Also, Post Malone's other country collaboration to be a hit this year, Pour Me a Drink with Blake Shelton, was also pretty good. I guess you could say Post Malone didn't just have some help on this song, and hopefully my recommendation helps you out too.
I come and I go. Tell me all the ways you need me. I'm not here for long. Catch me or I go. Houdini.
Well, here's a song I've been waiting all year to talk about. This was one of my most listened to songs on Spotify this year, and I'm glad I can finally talk about it. Dua Lipa has been a regular artist on my best hit songs list, thanks to her deep, distinctive voice, songwriting that never sounds too cliche, and how effortlessly she works with this sort of throwback sound. Her new disco hits that made my previous list, including Levitating, which topped my 2021 list, are all infectiously catchy, and are songs I still go back and listen to today. And of course, we got this year's hit from her with Houdini. I'll admit this one took a little bit to grow on me. The melody isn't her catchiest, and the synth-pop post-disco sound of it is definitely a slight difference from her new disco hits, but the fact that it's on this list should make it obvious that I ended up loving it. The glossy synthesizer gives it the same kind of throwback sound much of Dua's previous material did, though instead of a late 70s throwback, we got an early 80s throwback. It's got a real groove to it, and also makes you feel like dancing to it. And I like the lyrics here about telling a potential partner to impress you while they still got the chance. After all, you're not here for long, you come and go like Houdini. Maybe they could be the one to make you stay this time, but it depends on whether they impress you enough. The use of Houdini as a metaphor to emphasize that you might disappear before their eyes is definitely clever. Maybe they could have gone even further with the magician or magic trick references, but it still gives me that imagery all the same. It's hard to explain, but it just fits perfectly with Dua Lipa. She always manages to find a way to make her songs lyrically interesting and not too generic or cliche, wrapped up in a well-produced, upbeat, throwback way. If there is one Achilles heel to this song, it's that ear rape noise at the end of the song. Even from the first time I heard this song, that's the one thing I didn't like about it. But thankfully, it is only at the end of the song. If you can look past that, you're looking at yet another great Dua Lipa song and another well-deserved spot on one of my best hit songs lists. And now we get to the song that's gonna be appearing on pretty much everyone's best hit songs of 2024 list. And I know it's gonna be a lot of people's #1. Okay, hot taken, please don't hate me for saying this. Chappell Roan is overrated. Now don't get me wrong, I don't hate her in any regard. The fact the song is on the list at all is an indicator that I obviously like it. I've just never absolutely adored her music the same way I know lots of others do. Hot to Go, her other song to make the 2024 year-end list, is just kind of okay. Of course, Good Luck Babe, her best performing song so far, is definitely better, and I do understand why a lot of people love this song. It's got a great sweeping Baroque pop sound. Like the previous song on this list, it really feels like an 80s throwback with its synth pop sound. And Chappell Roan has some magnificent pipes. Her falsetto on the chorus sounds great and really fits the song's grandeur. It's arguably the best sounding hit song of the year. That being said though, there are a couple things that hold this song back for me. First of all, it's not really clear if the song is being sung from one woman to another or a woman to herself. If the former is true, that kinda gives some unfortunate implications in the lyrics. It sort of sounds like one woman is trying to guilt trip another into being with her instead. Sort of like Treat You Better by Shawn Mendes, but sung from a woman to another woman instead of a man to a woman. You know you want to be with me instead, stop denying it. Even if the other woman is a lesbian suppressing her feelings and doesn't like boys, it still feels kind of coercive, especially with the I hate to say I told you so line in the bridge. And the other thing that holds the song back for me is the ending. I don't like the song slowing down at the very end, like a record being played at a progressively slower speed. It kind of takes me out of the song. Those things don't completely ruin the song for me, they just make it not quite as good as some people have deemed it. I've said before that decent melodies can forgive subpar songwriting, and to say the song has a decent melody is definitely an understatement. Good job, Chappell Roan, and good luck, babe.
You're too sweet for me.
You know, I'm a little surprised that Hozier managed to get another hit in the US. I kinda thought that after Take Me to Church, his success would be limited to the other side of the Atlantic. But, not only did Hozier manage to get another hit in America 10 years after Take Me to Church blew up, but said hit ended up hitting #1, something his last American hit failed to do. Of course, Too Sweet is a song that couldn't be more different from Take Me to Church if it tried, with its upbeat sound, major key, and more straightforward lyrics. In this song, Hozier sings about how he goes to bed late and wakes up in the middle of the morning, while his partner goes to bed and wakes up at a more conventional time. He works late, but he actually prefers his sleep schedule to his partner's. He's simply enjoying life as it is. He doesn't want to live forever. He just wants to enjoy the simple pleasures of life as they are, even if his lifestyle isn't the healthiest. If that means drinking whiskey neat, working late, and having an off sleep schedule, even if he may end up dying a little sooner, then so be it. He appreciates his partner, but their lifestyle just isn't his cup of tea, or cup of coffee I should say. He prefers his coffee black. His partner's too sweet for him. Like Take Me to Church, we got another interesting use of metaphor. This time, he's comparing his sleep schedule to a cup of coffee. It's also a nice way of saying how he appreciates his partner, calling them sweet. In that sense, the word sweet has a double meaning. I also love the upbeat guitar plucks, Hozier's soulful voice which almost sounds like Sam Smith at a few points, and the catchy melody. Also, this song is a showcase of how to include bells on your song, but actually have them sound nice. That's more than I can say for a couple songs that made my worst list this year. This song is certainly more of an earworm than Take Me to Church was, which was a very slow song that wasn't very happy sounding at all. This song certainly justified Hozier crossing over into the States one more time a decade after Take Me to Church. Sweet song. Certainly not too sweet for me.
Made for me, just for me. Said you were made for me, only for me.
Well, this was a pleasant surprise. It seems that every year, while listening through all the eligible songs for my best and worst hit songs list, I always come across one or two songs I hadn't heard prior that I ended up really liking, and Made for Me by Money Long is one of those songs this year. I don't imagine this song will make many other people's best hit songs of 2024 list, but my list just would not be complete without it. Just like Espresso, we got another silky smooth song but wanted to get it on, except I would argue this one's even more sexy and intimate. I'm definitely a sucker for smooth R&B jams, and as such, this song is right up my alley. The soft, pleasant piano melody, the synth that thankfully doesn't sound too high-pitched to the point of annoyance, Money Long's sultry, passionate voice, and intimate lyrics about making love to a partner. Like Espresso, it really does give you the feeling of being in bed with your partner and feeling their soft skin, body to body and skin to skin, as described on that chorus, and fitting with the song itself having a very soft and gentle sound. It's definitely a song that a couple could make love to. It's honestly one of the best R&B ballads I've ever heard. Yes, I said it. It's definitely the best R&B song to be a hit this year. Maybe Money Long isn't the most distinctive R&B artist. If you had given this song to, say, SZA or Summer Walker, or even a 90s R&B artist like Mariah Carey or Brandy, it wouldn't be all that different. But you know what? For a song that just sounds as pleasant as this, I don't really care. I can also see some people taking issue with the titular "You Were Made For Me" lyric, as it might sound like Money Long is being possessive of the person she's singing about, but I don't really see it that way. To me, it comes off the same way as someone saying, "We were meant to be together." The person Money Long is talking about is just a perfect person for her, as if have God created them specifically to be the perfect person for this relationship. Plus, again, sometimes decent melodies or production can forgive subpar songwriting, and when the song just sounds this beautiful, any criticisms of the song just sound like nitpicks. This song, it was made for me.
Ain't no love in Oklahoma, just a whistle of a long black train.
Just like Dua Lipa, Luke Combs is another artist who's been a regular artist on my best hits songs list since I started in 2020, and I always look forward to his hits that make each year-end list. I definitely consider him my favorite mainstream country artist right now. Luke Combs has always been known for his warm, organic sounds that harken back to neo-traditional country as opposed to the pop country, bro country, and boyfriend country has been dominating the genre over the past decade. In Ain't No Love in Oklahoma, however, Luke Combs manages to make a song that's not exactly warm, but still remembers to sound organic by giving us a rocking country rock song with elements of southern rock and blues with those guitars, especially with the solo in the bridge, and the overall minor key sound, while at the same time not sounding super dour or depressing. There's definitely a lot of force and emotion behind the song, as Luke Combs sings his lungs out about feeling the adrenaline from a chase. There's a sense of danger to this song, but also a sense of thrill, and it just sounds awesome. It's definitely a song that tries to get your adrenaline rushing, and it definitely works. It reminds me quite a bit of God's Country by Blake Shelton from 2019, another country/southern rock song that ended up being a hit. It may not be as soft or warm as most of Luke Combs' other hits, but it still fits him perfectly. His raspy, expressive voice fits like a glove with the more southern rock sound here. Like God's Country, it shows how even though this kind of song was from a different subgenre of country the artist is known for, they could still pull it off. It definitely makes me think of being out on the prairie on a gloomy, windy day, hence why the song references there being no love in Oklahoma, and why the song was specifically made for the soundtrack of Twisters. Luke Combs just shreds through the song like an incoming Twister. It almost makes me wonder if Luke Combs should make more songs that have more of that southern rock, bluesy, Eric Church-esque sound. It's not out of place for him, and he could definitely pull it off just as well as his other songs. There may be no love in Oklahoma, but there's definitely love in my heart for this song.
We were never strangers. You were right there all along.
Just like Made For Me, this was another pleasant surprise, and another song I don't imagine many people will love as much as I do. But you know what? I absolutely love Stargazing. Like a couple other songs on this list, it's got another sound I love. This time, a summer night feeling. It sort of reminds me of Shooting Stars by Bag Raiders, another song that gives me that summer night clear sky imagery. I mean, the song is called Stargazing, after all. It really makes me think of someone dancing underneath a big, wide, clear, starry sky in the middle of a warm summer. It's got such an upbeat sound, and when I hear it, I just can't help but want to get up and spin around with my arms out and imagine the stars above spinning around me. If I ever go stargazing or camping in a secluded place on a clear night, I'll definitely be sure to play this song. Another song it reminds me of is Counting Stars by One Republic. It helps that both songs are in the same key and both include the word star in their titles. Maybe the song could have gone even further with the celestial references to really sell the imagery beyond the stargazing title lyric, like mentioning how the protagonist and his crush connect together like a constellation, or how the crush is a shining star. But it still sounds great regardless. The lyrics of loving your partner and realizing how they were always there all along sound very sweet. Additionally, the piano and guitars sound awesome. I mentioned how it reminded me of One Republic's Counting Stars earlier. I definitely could have seen this being a One Republic song, or maybe even a Coldplay song. Miles Smith's voice does sound similar to Chris Martin's. They are both British singers. It almost feels like it's trying to harken back to the 2010s EDM or folktronica from artists like Coldplay or Ellie Goulding. I will say the song does sound like it ends a bit too early. It's just under 3 minutes long. I would have liked there to be one more repeat of the chorus and post-chorus at the end, with the second to last chorus being sung quieter to build up to the crescendo on the final chorus. That could have really put the song over the top and helped make an already awesome song even more awesome, but alas. But still, it's a fantastic song, and I'm glad it ended up becoming a hit. And you know, I actually thought this would be my number one pick, but there was another song that ended up surpassing it. Before I get to that though, let's talk about a few honorable mentions.
Baby, was it over then? And is it over now?
And this makes 2 years in a row where a Taylor Swift song just missed the list proper and would have been number 11. A very atmospheric song, reminiscent of something you hear from Arizona, where Taylor Swift sings about the complex emotions that have arisen following a breakup. Very poetic song. Taylor Swift is a damn good songwriter, and I love the atmospheric production with the reverb and echoey sound of it. It gives me the impression of someone walking through thick fog, fitting with how the flurry of emotions are filling Taylor Swift's mind. You know, with how big country music has gotten lately, you'd think Taylor Swift would have returned to her country sound. But Is It Over Now still a good song?
Put your back together, and if that's true, you'll just have to taste me when he's kissing you.
I already already talked about Espresso, but all 3 of Sabrina Carpenter's singles from her album Short and Sweet are pretty good. Taste is the second best of them after Espresso. It's a song about the protagonist's ex-boyfriend, who's now with a new partner, and telling the new partner that when they make love to him, they're getting a taste of the protagonist too, since something about them rubbed off on their boyfriend. Interesting premise for a love song, and like Espresso, it's elevated up thanks to Sabrina Carpenter's breathy vocals, an upbeat sound that's also not too peppy, as well as a nice sounding guitar melody on the post-chorus. I sure love the taste of this song.
These beautiful things that I've got, please stay.
And here's the highest positioned song on the 2024 Billboard Hot 100 year-end list I'll be talking about in this video. A really good pop rock song where Benson Boone sings about his fear of losing everything he has, including his girlfriend. I love how he shows off his really great voice in that chorus with his louder side. Then of course, we got a great pop rock sound with some great prominent guitars, which honestly feel like a breath of fresh air in the pop landscape today. This song really gives me Shawn Mendes vibes, in that both he and Benson are pop/rock singer-songwriters with a slightly more acoustic sound. Not sure if Benson will stick around as much as Shawn, but good work, Benson. Also, your other hit this year, Slow It Down, was pretty good too. Check that song out as well.
Put some miles on it, back of the Chevy with the engine running.
This one's definitely going to be an unpopular opinion. You could add this to my list of country songs that a lot of people don't like that I do. And yes, I just made some people angry by calling this a country song, but regardless, I actually do like Miles on it. I like the upbeat, catchy melody that makes it feel like a driving song, fitting with the lyrics about wanting to put some miles on a brand new truck. While I know some music critics are going to criticize the lyrics for being stupid, especially the line comparing the truck to a bed, or how the production is way too processed, or how it's appropriating country music or whatever, I'm going to enjoy the upbeat, fun sound of it, not caring what anyone thinks about it.
Got too much pride to let that happen again. So this is where it ends.
Just like Rockin' a Hard Place from 2 years ago, we got another Bailey Zimmerman song that just missed a cut for the list, but would be in the top 15 best hit songs of 2024. This song almost feels like a sequel to Rockin' a Hard Place, since that song was about wondering whether it's time to end a relationship following a fight. In Where It Ends, Bailey lets his partner back into his life and gives him a second chance, only for them to take advantage of him and deciding that yes, this is where the relationship ends. Very relatable scenario, and the country rock sound, as well as the minor key sound and guitar chords, really have to sell the emotion of disappointment and anguish. Man, we sure had a lot of really good country songs to be hits this year, didn't we? And on the topic of really good country songs, let's talk about the #1 best hit song of 2024.
Pointed that headlight west, out where the wild things are.
Well, this one definitely snuck up on me. For those who are keeping count, this is Luke Combs' 3rd song to top one of my best hit songs list, and his first time he's had back-to-back #1s. Like I said, Luke Combs has been a regular recurring artist on these lists. He's made some absolutely fantastic, heartfelt, organic country songs, and he once again managed to knock it out of the park with this one. Honestly, I wasn't expecting the song to be my #1 pick for this list initially. It was still going to be on this list, just not a #1. However, after listening to the lyrics a little closer, I decided the song deserved the top spot. Just like Even Though I'm Leaving, my #1 best hit song pick for 2020, Luke Combs manages to tell a compelling but heartfelt story in this song. This time, instead of being about a father assuring his son he'll always be with him, even when he's not there, it's sung from a man talking about his older brother, whom, after riding an Indian Scout for the first time, decides to move out west to California, where he can keep riding his motorcycle and speeding through the streets at night, because he enjoys living wild. One day, after telling his little brother about the various adventures he's had over the phone, he invites him to come visit him and hang out, which he does. The two drink, hang out with some movie stars, meet some girls, and party, before the younger brother decides to go back home. Even though he had fun and enjoyed catching up with his brother since the latter moved out, he decided that kind of life just wasn't for him. However, the older brother decides to stay there in California and keep living like the wild rebel he is. Unfortunately, the older brother ends up meeting his sudden end after he hits a guardrail on his bike early in the morning. His family decides to bury him there in California, the place he loved being. Just like with Even Though I'm Leaving, it's a fantastic showcase of storytelling within a song, and it also ends with one of the characters passing away. Although the similarities are definitely there, it manages to tell a completely different story that still feels like Luke Combs, and manages to also be very well told. His brother may have met a tragic end, but at least he chased his dream, and did what he enjoyed doing. He may not have died in peace, but at least he enjoyed his life right before the accident. It's definitely an emotional story, but in a different way from Even Though I'm Leaving. It's about saying goodbye to your sibling, not your father, although it's also done 3 times. First when the older brother moves out to California, the second time when the younger brother leaves after the visit, and the third time when the older brother dies in the accident. Shame the older brother didn't get to hear the goodbye the last time. Very interesting parallel to the son in Even Though I'm Leaving, saying goodbye to his father first when he goes to bed, secondly when he goes to serve in the military, and thirdly when his father's on his deathbed. I don't know if this parallel was intentional or how many other people will notice it, but it's definitely an interesting one. It may not be quite as strong of a tearjerker as Even Though I'm Leaving, but it's still a very good story and song. Luke Combs really is a master at singing songs that have this great sense of storytelling that feels so well told. Like his rendition of Fast Car, which made his best list last year, it sort of feels like Luke Combs is telling the story to someone close to him, perhaps to his child. Or heck, maybe the song is being sung by the younger brother at the older brother's funeral, and he wrote the song specifically for that reason. Also, this song doesn't have a chorus, just a series of verses and a bridge, but each verse ending with "Out Where the Wild Things Are" still gives the song a distinctive part to sing to, despite deviating slightly from the typical pop song structure. That's definitely one difference the song has from Even Though I'm Leaving, which did have a chorus, even if the pronoun was changed from I to you for the second time it was sung. And of course, like many other Luke Combs songs, it's got a nice warm guitar melody. That plus Luke Combs' characteristic raspy voice just fits the song perfectly. If it is sung from a father to his child, Combs' voice definitely sounds very fatherly, as he tells his child the story of the child's late uncle. And let's not forget the great harmonization behind Luke Combs' voice and the guitar solo right before the bridge. It's definitely a louder song than any of the Luke Combs songs I've talked about in these lists, but it still sounds nice and fits the content. Absolutely fantastic work, Luke Combs. For the 3 years out of 5 I've been making these lists, you put out a song that ended up being a hit and that I deemed was the best hit of the year. Hope you keep chasing your dreams too. Just try not to end like the protagonist's brother in the song. Stay safe, but don't take no risks at all. And that's a great lesson for the rest of you as well. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed my best and worst hit songs for the year. Hope you all had, or are still having, a happy holiday, and I wish you all a happy new year. Till next time.